Hey, welcome to Don't Kill My Deal. I'm Fred, and today's guest I have here, Mr. Anthony Scaraggi. This is our episode number 1. So Anthony is being my guinea pig as I figure this thing out.
Don't kill my deal, not today, not tomorrow, or for too long to face this sorrow.
Anthony is a broker in Central Florida. Anthony, please introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
Hey, Fred. Thanks for having me first and foremost. I really appreciate being the guinea pig here on your podcast. So I've been in the real estate business almost 2 decades now here in Central Florida. We've been working together for probably close to 10 years now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Think how time flies.
It's crazy.
You know, the market's definitely changed over the last half a dozen years or so. It's been up, down, left, right, sideways, and kind of did the hokey pokey. Spun itself all the way around.
And still spinning.
It definitely is. And I don't know which way's up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the general consensus of everybody.
Let me know when you find which way is up, because I'm trying to figure that out as well, man.
Yeah. You know, having the pulse on the market, I feel like right now we're more in a buyer's market than we are in a seller's market. But, you know, those things change. It all depends on the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think the deal is the deal.
Absolutely.
And the biggest part of that deal, I really feel, is come down to the strength of the agent. The agent representing a buyer, the agent representing a seller. Those two variables seem to dictate good deals, bad deals.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
It all comes down to people, right? How good people are. And
Yeah, and that's part of the problem.
yeah, they tend not to be as good as they think they are.
Right.
Hopefully,
everybody's a legend in their own mind.
Hopefully we are as good as we think we are.
I'd like to think so.
Me too, man. So
we've worked on a lot of crazy deals together.
Oh, don't we? Yes, absolutely. So, Anthony, if I hear your accent correctly, I think you're not from Florida.
I am not from Florida. I'm about 1,200 miles too far north.
All right, so
I'm originally from New York.
New York. Where in New York?
So I grew up in Queens, moved out to Long Island, and then traveled down to Florida.
Gotcha. And how long you've been here in the Sunshine State?
Sunny Florida has been now 18 years.
Wow. Almost
so
legal.
Quite a while. Almost legal to drink.
All right, man. So let's get to the meat of these things. Anthony, just tell me a story. I mean, we're here just to tell stories of deals that almost got killed. So anything
crazy story that just happened.
Yeah, right. Like we don't see those
literally.
pretty much every day.
This was about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
We had a house that was on the market. It was overpriced originally and sat for almost 200 days.
Holy moly.
The sellers were super dug in and thought that this was, 4 years ago when everything was going to go for a bidding war. And sometimes you just have to let people do their thing and, they'll eventually come around. So we finally had a couple of showings and we get the house under contract. The house itself is pristine. No issues with the house. Everything is great. The inspection comes back perfectly fine. We're going through it. We're getting to the close. So it is Friday before the Monday of closing day. I had some stuff to do over the weekend. So I did my own little walkthrough personally through the house to make sure that, a storm didn't hit and there was a leak or a tree through the house. or the neighbors kind of, ransacked the house kind of thing because it was empty. Everything was perfect. The sink was clean, the bathrooms were clean, there was no nothing. I check and make sure all the appliances are working. That Sunday, the buyer's agent says, "Hey, I'd like to do a final walkthrough." No problem. I am 100% confident. Please. He's like, "You want to come?" I'm like, "No, I was just there 2 days ago. Everything is great." "Okay, give me the door code." Give him the door code. About 15 minutes after he was supposed to arrive, I get a super frantic text message. He says, "Question for you. Where's the washer and dryer?" I said, "Excuse me? What do you mean, where's the washer and dryer?" "The washer and dryer is in that little spot by the garage where it's supposed to be. Because it was there on Thursday or Friday." He's like,
Oh man.
there's no washer and dryer." I'm like, "Listen, don't pull my leg." He said, "I know it was there because I saw it with my own 2 eyes." He takes a picture, and there's an empty spot where the washer and dryer were supposed to be. He's like, in the contract, it says that there's supposed to be a washer and dryer here.
Man.
And my buyer is adamant about the fact that that is a breach of contract. I said, "I get it. Let me make a phone call." Now the sellers are out of town and almost unreachable. So about 2 hours passes of me blowing up their phone. They finally call me and say, "What's the matter?" I said, "We have a problem." He goes, "How can we have a problem? We're closing on Monday. We're so close. We don't have any problems at this point." I said, "Well, we wouldn't have had a problem if the washer and dryer didn't magically disappear." He goes, "Oh, that's not a problem." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, it was my washer and dryer, and my in-laws needed a washer and dryer, so I gave them my washer and dryer."
Oh man.
I said, "Do you know that that was in the contract that we had to sell the house with the washer and dryer?" He goes, "I thought all that stuff was mine and I could do what I want with it." I said, "It's not how it works." I said, we have to get a washer and dryer." So Sunday, I went on the search on Facebook Marketplace, of all places. I found a phenomenal washer and dryer set, an LG washer and dryer set. Like I said, he's out of town. I get my truck, attach my trailer, schlep all the way to like South Claremont by Four Corners, and this place is in Groveland. The house that I'm selling is in Groveland. It's pouring outside. Our wonderful, summer thunderstorm days. I schlep 40 minutes down, get the dryer, get the washer, wrap it up in a tarp, drive all the way back to Groveland. So I open the garage door. It's like, I don't know, 120 degrees in the garage.
Yep.
You know how those things are,
Maybe, yeah.
right? Maybe just a little bit. And I go to try to bring the washer and dryer in, and they're about an inch too big for the door.
Oh.
So now I have to go to my car, get tools. I have to take the door hinges off, 2 different sets of doors. I have to drag the washer and dryer in, hook up the washer and dryer, make sure it plugs in, make sure it works, all this other stuff, put the doors back on, pack everything up in the pouring rain, get back in my truck and drive home. The whole thing took probably 3.5 hours. And the whole time, obviously, my wife is, "Why are you doing this? This isn't your responsibility. You shouldn't have to do this. This isn't something that was your fault." The blah, 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 blah,
Great.
blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Baby, think about it. You know,
Uh,
I spoke to the sellers and they agreed to pay for the washer and dryer, which was minimal. It was $300. But even if I had to, I would have done it to save the deal.
mhm,
But the whole point was it cost me time.
mhm,
Now on a commission on a $400,000 house, standard commission rates, it wasn't worth arguing over the cost of the washer and dryer
mhm.
or the time it took. But it definitely was principle. But the people that I was doing it for are really good friends and all of this stuff. So it all worked out in the end.
Mhm.
But things that kill the deal and how you don't want it to kill your deal and what are you prepared to do? And I think that's what makes a good realtor as opposed to a adequate realtor.
So,
What are
Anthony,
you willing to do not to kill the deal?
so you're telling me that selling a house is not just putting on MLS and opening the door?
That would be great. It's like saying that you're telling me that if you just buy a lottery ticket, you're going to win the lotto.
Oh man, yeah,
It would be equally as nice.
yeah. Or
It
people
used
that
to be
don't.
that way years ago when the market was different.
Mm,
Then you could put anything up, and as long as it had four walls and a roof, somebody would buy it. It's definitely not that way anymore.
yeah, folks, it takes effort and doing the right thing, as as Anthony said, is out of principle. If the buyer is expecting to, on our inspections we document everything, and it's funny because here in Central Florida is different than South Florida. South Florida, if the washer and dryer is inside the house, it is part of the house, no questions asked. But here in Central Florida, I learned on my first few inspections that you have to ask if the washer and
Correct.
dryer is included in the deal or not, because it's not always the case. So,
And
uh,
the funny part was it wasn't originally included when I did the listing and when I put it on MLS, it wasn't included in there. But this other broker, we had some back and forth with the contract, and the third or fourth contract that was sent back, he somehow snuck it in without me catching it. So therefore, at the end of the day, it was finally a part of the contract,
mm,
and we had to get it done.
yeah, yeah, I hear you. Well, thank God, that one didn't die, so you were able
You know,
to resurrect the dead from the death.
it was the Lazarus sale.
Yeah. So deals often die because of these dirty people, home inspectors, right? These people are so bad. So any stories on home inspectors or
Well,
appraisers?
yes, and it involves you.
Oh crap! Oh man!
So we had a deal, if you remember, in Claremont. Um, Trying to think of how to tell you where it is. Do you remember the deal with Chris?
I'm bad with names, and I'm really bad with that.
It was over by Hammock Ridge Road.
So I know what you're talking about. Yes, yes.
Okay, so you did the inspection on the house, and the house was pretty much very minimal things that had to be done. One of the things that you had noticed in the house when you flew your drone on the roof was that so the house is very symmetrical. You could literally cut it in half, and the left side looks identical to the right side. The problem is that on the right side, in one of the gables, there appeared to be a patch
Hmm.
on a brand new roof. Ultimately, it turned out that it wasn't a patch. What had happened was they ran out of these lesser shingles that they had, and they put like a better shingle there. But the problem was We were still in the inspection period, and this was one of those, like, I think we did a 5-day inspection period. So when we got the report back, and by the way, just to kind of plug you, your reports are fantastic. I love the little vignette videos that you send, and it's so easy to understand what each little issue may or may not be and what really you need to do to fix it. So I super appreciate that. It makes my job easier. And in addition to that, those little cost estimates that you have
Mm-hmm.
really help in the negotiation on explaining to the other side, like what we need, what we want, what we have to do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're trying
So that's just a kudo to you.
to make life
But
easier for everybody.
this realtor was so adamant. I said to her, I said, listen, I said, we got a little issue with the roof. She goes, there's no issue with the roof. It was just done. I said, listen, I get that. I said, I see Lake County signed off on it and all this other stuff, and the roof is good and blah, blah, blah. I said, but what's the deal with the patch? She goes, there's no patch. I said, I got a video from a drone that flew over the roof of that house that shows me like a 6x4 foot patch. She goes, there's no patch. And then she says, why are you telling me this on day 4, the evening of day 4, the last day basically of the inspection period? I said, what does it matter if I told you on day 1 or day 5 at 11:55? The inspection period is the inspection period is the inspection period. Well, I think you're trying to kill this deal. I said, listen, I said, the last thing I'm trying to do is kill a $700,000 deal. But the first thing I'm not trying to do is have my clients buy a $700,000 mistake. Because that's ultimately what would happen if I didn't do my due diligence and represent them in the fiduciary manner that I'm supposed to. I don't understand. Well, explain to me what you don't understand, and I will be more than happy to try and explain it to you. We had a screaming match.
Oh man.
I had to get the roofing. I happen to know the roofer who did the job,
Okay.
which was, what are the chances of that happening?
Mm-hmm.
It's 10 o'clock at night. I call the roofer, who's a friend of mine. Say, can you get on the phone with the two of us, please, and figure this out and tell me what happened? He gets on the phone. He said, listen, we ran out of these particular shingles, and we basically put super high-end shingles on that little spot. Like, these shingles aren't going to go bad for 50 years, and the rest are going to go bad in 25. We just didn't have, and we had to finish the house. So I said, listen, can you send me where Lake County signed off on it? And just so I know that there's no problems. He sent it, no problem. She lost her mind and she kept saying, you're just trying to kill this deal. I said, lady, you have to understand that my client comes before my commission. That's how this is supposed to work. We're supposed to facilitate the deal. We're supposed to be the person that protects our buyer, if that's our job in the deal, and not let them make a $700,000 mistake. I don't understand. It's a brand new roof. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've been doing it long enough. Have you not seen problems with brand new roofs and brand new houses and brand new whatevers? We run into that just as much as we do with older homes and resale homes. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The quick story. Once I showed up to do a quick 4-point inspection for a client, and I stopped and in my truck and put my I wear a vest, and I put my vest. My vest says inspector in the back. I put my drone up and I see the city's truck coming by, and the city inspector came to me, said, "Oh, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm just doing a 4-point for this the homeowner." He gave me his business card and said, "Oh, if you see anything wrong with this roof, just give me a call, and he closed the the permit right there in front of me.
Wow. Before you did the 4 point.
Yeah, while I was flying my drone, the guy just closed. He didn't even care to go on the roof to do anything, to even look at
And
the
that's
house.
indicative of the problems that we could have had with this particular roof incident,
Mm-hmm.
and to this day, she's still angry at me for taking the side of my client. Every time we go somewhere, like if we go to a chamber meeting or whatever, she gives me the stink eye. She's like, that's the guy that was trying to kill my deal.
No, lady, it was
I'm
me.
like, yep, that's me. Guilty.
Oh man, I think I.
And yeah, she just it just didn't, I'm like, how do you sleep at night knowing that you didn't want to give them? And the paperwork was so easy. They had the
Mhm,
paperwork. They had everything. I said, the harder you dig in and fight me on this, the more it makes me think something's wrong.
mhm.
Right? If you would have said, oh, okay, listen, this is what happened. Here's the paperwork. Here's the roof guy. This is all good to go. We would have been on our merry way and not having a problem.
People get too emotional, right?
Right. And the funny part is, so in my conversation with her, the buyers are super close friends of mine. They happened somehow to be on the three-way call when we had this conversation with the other realtor, but they were on mute. And they got to hear what I said to the lady, hey, my clients come before my commission. And after we hung up the phone, the wife was actually in tears saying, I can't believe that you were willing to throw away a $21,000 commission because you were trying to protect us. I've since sold 3 other properties for them.
That's what happened when you do the right thing.
100%. My grandmother always used to say, do good and forget about it, do bad and remember and think about it.
Absolutely.
So,
So, how do you? You're a New Yorker. New Yorkers are street smart usually, and I'm sure you are.
allegedly.
Allegedly. How do you calm down a buyer or seller when these emotions run so high?
Well, the first of all, the thing that I try to tell everybody is to think with their business head, not their heart. Right? You can love something, you can fall in love with a house and this and that, but we've all heard one where you buy this house and it has mold, or there's a roof problem, or there's an electrical issue, or there's a plumbing issue. They have to repipe the house and it's $7,000 to $10,000. Fall in love with the house after it checks all the boxes. Initially, make it a business decision and go from there. I really feel like people need to understand that you wouldn't go into any other business deal with your eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people say, I don't want to do an inspection. Well, then I don't want to sell you a house because I'm not going to have it hit my E&O insurance or have you hate me forever because there was a problem that you weren't smart enough to try and find. That's not my fault.
Absolutely. It becomes your fault every time, that door cracks or something happens that, oh, damn, here we go. Anthony sold me this piece of crap. And
Exactly.
let
Who
that
needs
be
that?
me, let me be that guy.
But, is it really, you're not really the bad guy. On the contrary, you're the good guy.
Hmm. So we were talking about getting emotions, how a street smart New Yorker, motivate buyers or sellers to tone it down a little bit. when emotions get high during a deal.
And I think that all happens too on the front part as well with managing their expectations. Setting up the deal, letting them know kind of who's in control and why. A lot of times I find that buyers and sellers will want to talk to the other party personally because they feel like, oh, I can do something better. And that always is a bad idea because the seller always thinks their house is worth $100,000 more than they're selling it for, and the buyer thinks it's worth $100,000 less. And then you get those two things and they butt heads, and that'll kill a deal. Because
Yep,
everybody's proud of their stuff.
absolutely. And speaking of managing expectations, one thing that we are seeing a lot is smart agents like yourself doing a pre-listing inspection, because then you are in the driver's seat. You are in control. You know what to negotiate and what's not, what you don't want to negotiate in a house. Being too surprised with an inspection after everybody's vested on the sale of the house, and then coming a surprise during the inspection, it throws everybody out off. And a pre-listing inspection, it's probably one of the smartest thing, especially in the buyer's market that we are now experiencing, to be in the driver's seat, controlling uh, that deal. That's what you were mentioning in a minute ago. Who's in control, and if you want to be fully in control, obviously I'm biased. I'm a home inspector.
Well, but I'm biased as well as a listing agent too, because there's nothing like getting kicked in the head when the buyer's inspector comes in and says, oh, there's this, and this wrong with the house. And you look at the seller, I didn't know, or I thought maybe I could get away with it. And then you lose credibility. And I just think that the few bucks that it costs to get a pre-sale inspection done really pays dividends on the back end, because you don't have to worry about the inspection coming in and having somebody do what I would do with a bad inspection and try and beat them up.
Exactly. And one thing that always baffles me is that you spend a ton of money with curb appeal. Some people go even paint the house, spend thousands of dollars painting a house and doing all these, and
But they won't spend a couple of $100 on an inspection.
they don't spend four, five, $600 on an inspection,
Right.
and delay the deal tremendously sometimes, and
Yeah, potentially months.
gives the control to the buyers. And let me tell you one secret: a lot of inspectors don't like to do pre-listing inspections because they know that there's going to be another inspector coming behind him,
Coming to check their work.
exactly. So we are very thorough on a pre-listing inspection because we know someone else is going to come. And inspectors, we like to bash other people's job. A lot of inspectors do. I don't do it.
Yep.
But I know my people. So when I do a pre-listing inspection, I'm gonna tell you exactly. Even I'll probably pay. I always pay attention, but I'm gonna be very diligent to not miss anything or to not misrepresent anything. So when the other inspectors coming behind me, there's little to no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, again, it's a no-brainer. But people don't want to, do that. A lot of people don't believe in that. There's a recent article on Realtors Magazine. Go check it out. I think I'm gonna put on the description, that tells the reality of a pre-listing inspection, what that can do for you and your business. That can really cut to the chase and save you weeks, if not months, of days listed. And for a couple of $100, as Anthony said. It's more than a couple of hundred, but a few $100s.
But so, and that's what I tell people all the time when they say, especially like, oh, I don't want to do an inspection. You're spending $3, $4, $5, $6, $700,000 on a house. Realistically, what's $600? What's $1,000? It's 1/600th of that number. If I put that in perspective with anything else and said, listen, you need to pay 1/600th of the price of this to make sure it's okay, would you argue? No. So why are you arguing now? Like, people don't realize what it's going to do for them. And especially on the pre-listing side, because there's no devil in the details.
Mm-hmm.
You can confidently say, and I can't say with every home inspector, but we've never had an issue with the few dozen homes that you've done for us
Mm-hmm.
and my team, dozens.
Oh, yeah.
We've never had an issue. We've never come back. And, I had some questions about some stuff because when you have a lot going on, it's hard to keep them all straight. But it's always been a position of power. And when it being a buyer's market, as a listing agent, you need to play every trick you can to be in that position of strength, or at least make yourself more equal in a buyer's market as a listing agent.
It may take weeks for you to get a buyer, right? It may take weeks.
Why try and lose them?
Why would you lose the buyer? Do that damn pre-listing inspection and be in control.
Right.
Right?
Someone says, oh, I don't think the roof is good. Here's the inspection. It says the roof has another 10, 12, 15 years of life expectancy. Yeah, but it doesn't look like it. But it is.
Exactly. So,
when did you become a roofer that you know the difference? This person has a degree or a certification to be able to tell you that.
And we hang our license in every inspection. Believe me, every inspection we are hanging our license on. I keep, to your point, on the value of the inspection. It's a fraction of the value of the house. It's a minute value, minute fraction of the value of the house.
I don't think people should be allowed to buy a house without an inspection. I think it should be mandated.
They're trying that in Massachusetts right now, actually, and I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I like that, because that creates more.
I don't know that I like them telling me what I should do and not do to begin with, but I just feel like from a safety or precautionary thing, you should really have to think about having to do that. I think somehow somebody should beat it into your head.
The language should be, I'm forfeiting my right to know what this house condition is, and it should be in big bold letters. I forfeit the knowledge of that.
Yeah, and I give up any rights to claim after the fact.
Exactly.
Against you, against the realtor, against the seller. Like, it should be pretty punitive if they don't do it. You don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, you're SOL.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. It should be, people need to understand what they are forfeiting when they decide not to do it. And
it's a scam. No, it's not.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I understand. The other day, it's not about me, but I have to tell you a story. So we had this lady calling me, the buyer, saying, I don't trust my realtor's inspector. I want to hire my own. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. And we went there, we did the inspection. The realtor, the buyer's agent, which was also the seller's agent, was not happy that we showed up for the inspection. And after the inspection on a Sunday morning, she was texting me, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I understand deals needs to move on, and I don't have Saturdays or Sundays or evenings or mornings. You know me, I'm up by 5. If you text me 11 p.m., I'm probably going to be responding to you as well. I don't have a problem with
Yep.
that. My wife does.
Mine too.
But
Yeah.
this,
We're an
this,
entrepreneur. We don't have a schedule. We don't have a job.
yeah, I don't. But this buyer's agent slash seller's agent, she went berserk on me, and I responded to her. And next thing I know, I got a 1-star review on my Google page. And
That's tough.
she went crazy on her comments. And Monday morning, Monday was a holiday, but she was communicating with me on a Sunday. Monday morning, I text her. She did not respond to me. Then I text the buyer saying, "Hey, can you please ask your agent to, one, remove the 1-star review because she's not my client. Two, call me because we can reason this." Then the lady called me late Monday night. She was a mess, a hot mess. Long story short, the buyer gave me a 5-star review, and I still have that 1-star review on my Google because of that agent. So either way,
You need to go and respond to it though.
I did. I put a response on that 1-star review. Said, "Never mind." Oh, a PSA. The buyer gave me a 5-star review. That's it. That's all I need.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, they're special.
um,
Do
people
you
are,
remember the house that we did? The house that was basically a farm.
yes,
All of the animals lived in the
yes,
house.
yes, yes.
How did we get that deal through?
So many air fresheners and candles.
They had, remember that was like a whole room of those trees, like
Yeah.
the carved
Oh
air freshener trees.
gosh.
That was
Did
gross.
they buy the house?
They bought that house. That deal
Holy
went
moly.
through. They gutted it, and they spent
Yes.
about $400,000 redoing that house.
I definitely can see that happening because that was I remember you walked away halfway because you couldn't stand the smell. I had to. Uh
You had to remember you were wearing the mask
I did go back to my truck and pick up a mask and gloves.
and that huge fish tank on the counter
Yeah.
in
And
the green
gloves.
water.
I had gloves and mask.
You should have
And
had a Tyvek suit on.
I do have a Tyvek suit in my car. Now that I think about it, I should have brought it in. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden, halfway through the inspection, I look up, the AC drain is clogged, and there's raining from the second story to the first story of the house, and all the drain is clogged. I had to go and shut off the AC. Yeah, it was a hot mess too.
I had to drive home with the windows open. It was 95 degrees, but my clothes smelled so bad. I took my shirt off and was holding it out the window as I was driving to try and get the smell off of it.
Never seen so many air fresheners and candles in my life. But
And it wasn't, I mean, that was like a $600,000 house
it
too.
was beautiful. I mean, the house outside was beautiful. I mean, it was not that old. Correct me if I'm wrong.
What was that?
It was not that old of a house too. It was,
No. It was a fairly new house, but it was rented to some crazy people.
yeah. They definitely destroyed that house inside.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
The carpets and the rugs and all the hair in the AC vents. They never changed the filter. Never once did they change a filter.
Yeah. Guys, you
I don't
should
know how
change
the
every
AC even
month,
worked.
right? Especially if you have a dog. I have 2 dogs. If you have a dog, every month. If you don't have a
Every month.
dog, if you don't have a dog every 3 months, okay. But if you have a dog every month,
So bad.
yeah, man. I tell you,
Rabbits and chickens and
everything,
cats and
Everything. That
And
was
then they had that big dog outside, remember?
yes, I do.
I thought that dog was going to eat us.
And the seller's agent, it was kind of an awkward fellow too, right?
Yes. Well, he was he was actually the owner or the buyer and the agent.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was weird.
Yeah, I
He's
thought
like, "Oh, this is a great house." I'm like, I don't know about that.
I thought he was a rancher or something.
It's just weird.
And I'm there with, I have an F-150 and I felt like I was driving a Prius. You guys had big trucks
Yeah.
in there.
That was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, Anthony,
Those
anything?
are three little funny stories.
Yeah, we gonna squeeze something out of this. So how do people reach out to Anthony Scaraggi?
So easiest way is go directly to my website. It's Anthony Scaraggi, AnthonyScaraggi.com.
Okay.
And if you want to reach me by phone, 516-749-6675.
516, it's New York. It's still there.
Still, I've had it for about 25, 30 years now. It's hard to get rid of it.
Don't do it.
Nope.
All right, folks. Thank you
It's a
very
great
much.
conversation starter.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, folks, thank you very much for sticking with us. Don't kill my deal. Don'tKillMyDeal.com is also the best way to contact us. Damngoodinspection.com is how you can book your inspection online. And thank you very much for sticking with us. Until next time, don't kill my deal.